Hello there. In this video, we are going to pick up where we left off with looking at the results from your first discrete event simulation with the Ciw package. So in order to do that, I wanted to actually add one more item to our requirements file, which is just to grab something for matplotlib, which is a library for plotting. It's not the only one out there, but it's definitely one of the classics. And this is as a quick reminder what our simulation looks like. We imported Ciw, we set a seed, we defined our model, we defined the simulation instance, and then we run the simulation. Now I'm going to open this up in interactive mode again, like last time. However, this time we're going to use something that allows us to get information from the simulation object in a more aggregate across all of the nodes sense. We'll take a look at what that is in just a moment. So from tutorial 1, let's import everything. Now remember, that actually ran the simulation. It'll do that every time. So the method I want to show you in this video is the get all records. And it does about what you might guess from the name. This is all of the records for every record at every node, which really corresponds to every customer visiting every node during the simulation for which those records were for a complete visit. It was just released, I believe today, an argument that will allow us to grab all of the records, including incomplete ones. But for today, I think we're just sticking with the current version. The next version will have that new feature. So there's a lot of information there. And we talked last time about what the various variables are. And I think that using pandas at this juncture is a good idea for just taking a quick look at what's actually in here. So if I go PD data frame and then get all records, that now we've got a data frame with all of those records nicely organized as a table. So here again are the names of the columns, the ID number, the customer class, the original customer class, the node, the arrival date, waiting time, service start date, service time, service end date, the time blocked, exit date, destination, queue size at arrival, queue size at departure, server ID, and record type. So we can start to plot some, or even before getting into plotting, actually, we could start to collect some statistics. One of the easy things to do with pandas here is just get a quick aggregate numerical summary. Some of these columns we wouldn't really care about, like the ID number. It might be useful to know that there's 304 of them, but you know, the average and 50 percentile and stuff like that don't really matter for the ID number. But what might be interesting is things like the waiting time, because if we're assuming some stationary conditions, this should actually be valid estimates that would have some kind of generalizability into the future. So in this case, they're getting average wait time of 4.2. What was this? Minutes, I believe, from the simulation setup. But there's a standard deviation of 6.3. So we could also look at the service times. Let's see, the service times in this case are an average of 10.6, almost 11. And then the standard deviation is just as large at being 10. Now, that shouldn't be entirely surprising because of the properties of the exponential distribution that we put in. Nonetheless, let's see what else we could do. Yeah, okay, so I imported matplotlib, or sorry, I installed it. Let's import it. Matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Oh, maybe I did not actually install it. uv pip install our requirements. There we go. Forgot to install. Okay. So from tutorial 1, import all. We could probably do this in a script, but I figured we might as well go through the motions here in pandas and in the interactive session. So, okay, frame, and remember that sim get all records. Good. And then we could go something like PLT and make a histogram of, let's say, the waiting time And just drag that over where you can see it. And this is a histogram, so I didn't bother with labeling any axes or anything, but the horizontal axis here is the waiting times, and the vertical axis is just the frequencies of those bars. And you can see that there's a roughly exponential distribution going on there, which is good because that's basically what we put in for the arrivals and the service times. It's not too surprising to get something that kind of looks like that back out, although sometimes it can look different. So one more little thing we can take a look at here is there's a set of transitive nodes, and in this case it's only node 1. And you can pull out that particular node, and you can look at some things like the server utilization, although it's spelled with an S. There we go. And so in this case, there was a 75% server utilization. So hopefully the biggest thing that this video gives you as a takeaway is just seeing how easy it is to turn the results table into a pandas data frame, for which you could do all kinds of different analyses. I assume you could similarly turn it into a polars data frame if you're into using polars or some other tools. So with that, we'll move on to the next topic in the next video. Take care.